I need my own theme music. Do. There. Now I'm recording without my theme music. Okay, guys, welcome Technology Drop-In Thursday. Today is May 13th, 2021. I've got a couple of things I want to chat about, and then we'll do a couple of demos and stuff. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen so you can see what we're going to be doing today. I am recording already. That's good. So we'll just do the screen sharing thing. There's a notice that went out yesterday. It's in McEwen midweek. You probably got it in your email and stuff, but there's a password change coming up on May 31st. Okay. So really important. You get that done ahead of time. If you don't, you better hope that you have your secondary email address set up so that you can reset your password. So I would make sure you do that. If you just go into the portal under password change, there's a link there, I believe, about how to set up your secondary email account. You should already have this set up, quite frankly, so I don't think it's a big deal. This is the email account that gets messages every time you log into to the portal or a different device. You get an email saying, hey, someone's used your credentials to log into the portal. So that's also where your reset's going to be. If you ever need to get the password reset when you lock yourself out, that's where you need to go. The password change that's going to happen, a couple of tips for you. So there's an article. David and I were just talking about that. So please read the article. It's in McEwen midweek. You can go through it and it'll tell you, what you need to do. If you're off campus, you need to have VPN installed, so it looks like you're on campus. If you're someone that happens to be nearby or are on campus, which should be like none of you, you can just connect to our local network and then do all the changes and stuff. What I've done in the past is basically shut down every device or turn off Wi-Fi of every device that you connect with. So I have over time, like my Wi-Fi on my phone, my iPad, my computer, shut them down and then take them one step at a time and go in and log into those devices and that. I don't think you're going to have any trouble automatically connecting to the network and stuff, so you're not going to get locked out. So most of that really only applies when you're on campus. But I've had, as a practice, I've had this where what happens is I have my phone and I have my computer. I've changed the password on my computer. My phone, while I'm on the network, keeps trying to log in using the old password. After 3 attempts, I get locked out. So to make my life easier, I just shut everything down. And one at a time, I'll start going into this computer, connect to the Wi-Fi, this computer, connect to the browser. You'll find that if you shut everything down, even though maybe I'm logged in for the week, as I've set it up, it will say, hey, you need to log in again with your new password. So do yourself a favor, make sure you get that done before the 31st, because guarantee if you lock yourself out and you don't have your password reset set up, you're going to have a whole whack of people in line ahead of you trying to get help from tech support.
Can I ask you a question, Trevor?
Sorry, what's that?
Yep. Can I ask a quick question? So I reset my password yesterday, and the instructions said to log into your VPN if you were off campus, and then log out, like lock your computer to come back in. But mine doesn't seem to recognize the new password, so I keep having to use the old one to log into my laptop.
Okay, Windows machine, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Mac guy. I'm not going to be able to help you. Give the technology support guys a shout. Somewhere that should be syncing in the background, because it's ideally using the same connection base, right? And then it should update. But yeah, give the tech support guys a shout. They can help you with the Windows stuff. Sorry.
Sure. Dave, here, one thing you want, have you tried the lockout using Alt-Delete, Control-Delete?
That's what I did. Control-Delete, lock screen. Then, and I made sure I was logged into the VPN, and it still wants my old password. It lets me log in with the old one, but it doesn't recognize the new one. So.
Yeah, that if it's letting you in with the old one, I suspect that it's either it didn't get changed in the background, or it must be, because I mean you're authenticating against a server, and the server, in the background has that new password. So maybe something didn't happen there. I would try and reset the password one more time, just for the heck of it. But if that still doesn't work, or contact tech support. That way, contact tech support, because that way you've already changed it. You've got someone there that if something gets locked out, they can change it right away. So as long as you got someone online with you, then you're a little safer. That's what I would do. Cool. All right. Thanks, David. Training sessions coming up. So there is a session on tomorrow, if you haven't signed up for it yet, for Microsoft Lists. We're not going to go into the deep depths of here's how you make a column and stuff, because it's actually fairly easy, and I've got a video that someone else made that'll do all that. But I wanted to show how you can create these different reports and stuff. So if you've been using it and the details are in there, and I think we talked a bit about it last week, really recommend that you take the 1 hour and sign up for that. It's going to be cool stuff. There's a training session on Monday on virtual agents or chatbots. So we talked a bit about that. You can build one up for your team. So if you've got a large team, instead of having people email you, the chatbot will look after all that. And then there is a become efficient with Microsoft Office and Outlook. Outlook and Teams. So if you're looking for some tips and tricks and stuff like that, that's a great session as well. You can find that one at mcewen.ca/make-me-tech-savvy. So there's all the stuff's listed there, and as new stuff gets put on, we put it in there. But that's where you can sign up for those sessions. WebEx, yay! WebEx has put in some new features, something called Sync Stage. So I'm just going to pull up this WebEx screen that I have here. So there's 3 of us in this WebEx meeting. So I've got myself here up at the top. I've got 2 other accounts that I've logged in, and we're all kind of working on this thing. As the host, I can actually start dragging pictures down into this area they call the stage. And what's going to happen is it allows me to pick and choose out of the film strip at the top who all gets to actually share the stage, right? So all 3 of us can be in the big screen and sharing the stage. And I think, and I haven't tested this, so if anyone wants to hang around after the session, we can play around with it. But I think everyone should be able to do their own. One of the things, though, that as the host that I get to do is if I right click on this, I can, try this link there. Come on, you did it 2 seconds ago. 1 minute, I'll get there yet. Imagine, if you will, that it worked the way it worked when I just tried it like 5 minutes ago. So somewhere there's a bloody link that I'll find. And what it allows me to do is sync my screen. So what that's going to do is actually force everyone else that's participating in this. I wonder if it's because we're all 3 in it. Maybe that's why it's not doing it. But if I force all 3 of us, I force anyone that's watching it to have the exact same layout that I have. So if I have, like, let's say there's 13 of us in this meeting, there's maybe 3 of us that have this ongoing conversation. Rather than having the screen flicker back and forth between the 3 different people, I can put all 3 of us on top here and say, share that screen out, and then we're all have the same layout. I suspect it's because I have gone in here and all 3 of my participants are in here. That's why it's not doing the sync out. Oh, wait, it's under layout. There we go. Sync my stage for everyone. So when here's one of the participants. There's Jazz's screen. See how Jazz has got this one up here and these 2 down there? But the moment that I go here and under layout, come on, slow computer today, sync my stage, there's the layout there on Jazz's. So it's kind of, you get to act like a producer almost for these, for your meetings and stuff. So that's sync my stage. Oh, go away. I'll come back to you later. Microsoft Teams has a new bypass lobby feature. So what's going to happen there is when we take a look at this window here, I'm just going to pull up, I got a meeting here scheduled for the lobby, called the lobby demo here. I'm going to open this up. You can access your meeting options either in the meeting or through this link here ahead of time. I'm just going to pull this up here real quick. Relatively speaking, as my computer screen just kind of crawls. But I'm going to use this meeting options link here. So I'll copy that link and I'm going to go back to my other screen that we were on. And in there, we got some new options. So before, when people were trying to join the lobby, I could indicate, hey, you know what, either you have to be part of McEwen, only I can join the lobby, et cetera, et cetera. They've added a new feature one now that says anyone that's been invited can join, can bypass the lobby. But if that person forwards that message to somebody else, they cannot join in. So that it has to be specific to the invitation of the meeting, but you can't forward it. So that's a new piece that's here under the bypass the lobby that you can do there. Another thing that they've had is allow mic for attendees. So I can turn this off as yes or no. Now, attendees are a different role within Microsoft Teams. The way to get the difference is that if I invite somebody in to come in by email, they're invited, they're a participant, they're not an attendee. But if I go ahead and say, hey, anyone else that happens to I share the link with, when they try and log in, they are logging in as a guest, they are going to be an attendee. The other way that I can do this is if I can say under the who can bypass the lobby, if I change this to only me, that should, from what I've read, change the attendee, make everyone else attendees. And then I can go and manually pick and choose who I want to be able to present and stuff like that. Actually, sorry, it's under the presentation. So I would change this to specific people or only me. So if I change it to specific people, everyone moves from being a presenter or potential presenter to a attendee, unless I indicate them. So that these kind of two here kind of work together. So if it's everyone, even if I check this as yes, everyone can present. The mute mic thing doesn't work because I've invited you in as a participant, not as an attendee. So there's a little playing around that you might want to do with that if you're trying to lock all the microphones down. This is getting closer and closer to being more like an event instead of like a meeting service where I can control who's on screen, I can control who gets to present, I can control who's going to just sit there and listen. And these controls are going to help do that. All right. Switch to the next screen here. Microsoft Whiteboard has some new features. Ooh. So every meeting that you create has the opportunity of sharing a whiteboard or has a whiteboard that can be created for that specific meeting, okay? And they've just added some more features in. From the desktop view here, I now have a little, well, actually yellow sticky's been there for a while. Some of the highlighting stuff has been new. This is new. I can now add text notes just by clicking on that. Pretty font. I don't know why they use this font. It's almost like a cross between Brush Script and Disney or something like that. Doesn't it look like Disney? Yeah, almost like Disney. So, and at the moment, I can't seem to find a way to change that font, but I can zoom in and out by using my scroll wheel or my pad on my laptop. So I can zoom in and out. I have different object items that I can put in there. Now, that's the web version, which is the standard version. On my laptop, or sorry, on my iPad, I can connect to there. I've got some different features that I can add in there. So for example, I can put in a picture. So I'm just going to go and take a picture of my dog, who is my coworker here, keeping me honest. And come on, there we go. So there's the picture of the dog. I can, once it's in here, I can make some changes and stuff like that. There's other elements that I can add from the iPad. So I can, there's a grid view, there's some lists and stuff like that. I can add stickers and that. The interesting thing is some of the features are not available on the web and vice versa. So for example, these shapes, if I was trying to do some kind of I don't know, build a house out of different shapes, they won't even display on the iPad. So it's kind of, again, it's like that whole work in progress kind of thing. You're not going to find all the features in there, but it sure come a long way from what it used to be, which I think was just these sticky notes and the shapes. Now we've got, I can go and mark up this this piece here and stuff. And of course, I can share this whiteboard with everyone on the team or whoever's in the meeting. No questions? Awesome. Okay. Here's something that I've discovered this week during the session from our Microsoft experts on to-dos. So for years, as a Mac user, I would have my messages and email here. And in order to just make it highlighted, like a highlighted, I was using the flag. So there's a right click, I'm on the web, but it also works in the desktop apps. But I can flag this stuff and it puts a little red thing here. Now, once that, come back here, where'd you go? Come back. Well, it's still flagged. Once you've flagged it, you can get back to it in a number of ways. I used to just scroll through the messages and then see it whenever I needed it. But I can also quickly go into here under filter and say, just show me all the flag stuff. And so here's all my important things that I flagged for future things to take a look at. Now, what's cool though, is the moment that I flag this, if you go to your to-dos, now the to-dos are located in a couple different places. There's a separate app for to-do. There's a desktop app. There's also one through the browser. So when you look at your launcher in the portal, it'll show that. You will also see a link down at the bottom here called to-do, and it just basically pulls this window up. But what's cool is if I look under flagged emails, important message to flag, that basically shows up now in 2 spots. It's still this message because when I go and unflag it, it just disappears from here. Come on. Okay. But what's nice about this is I can go in and where'd my message go? Oh, I know, because it's not there because it's not flagged anymore. So we'll get rid of that. There's my important message to flag. Go back and flag it again. It shows up here. Once it shows up here, now I can treat it like a to-do. I can click on this. I can now assign a due date for this thing to happen. So it's going to be tomorrow. I can set up a reminder. So the reminder actually pops up something on my screen. Assigning something to a due date doesn't mean that you're going to get a notification. The reminders is what gives you a notification. So I'll get a notification at 4 o'clock today. And then I can also take this and put it into a project. So this item here, I'm going to put it into my list here for writing stuff. So, and it gets filtered in there. Now the 2 are still connected. All right. So this here piece here, read here, whoops, important flag is still connected to that email. And we can see that when I click on this, because there's a link to open in Outlook. If I go into here, into Outlook, and I delete this, this also disappears from here. Okay, because they're still connected. It's still basically the same message. It's just got a little window that pops up somewhere else. If I click on and check this off, it removes the flag, but it doesn't delete the message. If I delete this message, then it's also going to delete from the to-do list. So it's kind of, I mean, for a while there when I started using this, I started deleting this thinking a task had been created, but no, the task hasn't actually been created. It's just something that's been assigned to this email. So the email still needs to exist. So you can start using that with your to-dos, and then, like I said, you can throw them into different lists and that. One thing I would recommend is if this is going to be in your way, like I have a lot of messages you can see that are in red. Most of them are from me. But what I would do is I would actually create a folder over here, say assigned task, and I would move that over into that folder just to get it out of the way here. So because I still have it listed in the to-dos, but I still need to reference it, even though a lot of the content has been copied and pasted here, and there's a link there to the Outlook original task message. Any questions on that? Okay, well, that's it. There we go. What do we have? We're at 20 minutes. Cool. Any questions on anything else? No? All right, then I'm going to end the session.
Trevor, I have a question.
Sure.
It's relating to this to-do list. I know it can be linked to the team for the task by planners.
No, actually, it's the other way around. So task by planners, sorry, okay, let's back up for a second. You're talking the application within Microsoft Team, or are you talking creating plans within a team?
I'm talking about, just scrap the to-do list and just about the creating a shared planner with a coworker in Microsoft Team. I've tried, I couldn't do it because I don't have the ability to create a team in my Microsoft Teams.
Correct. So Planner only works with teams. Okay. So when you say you and a colleague, that's not really a team, right? I mean, it's not necessary that you've got some place you're going to be storing. You can use OneDrive and you can use tasks here to do that. Planner is intended to try to have a larger team of people working together on a project. And so so you're going to already belong to a team. So for example, you guys are all part of Trev's Tech Tips as part of that team. You could probably create a planner in there, though that's not the place to do it, but you could create a planner as a member of that team. I could do that. Keeping in mind that everybody on that team will have access to that plan. But I mean, that's fine. It might be a project that, you, David, and I are working on together, and that's a project. We make a plan for that project. That's fine. It's not like anyone shouldn't have access to it. It's just the place, and it belongs to this team. But if you're just talking about something you're putting together as a to-do list or something like that between you and another colleague, and it's very short, you would do that in to-dos instead. You can still share those tasks and those lists with the individual, but you don't need to create a team for that. If you are doing a project, so let's say, I'm going to pick on Dave for a while. So let's say Dave, every year he has to do a review of all the different course descriptions, and it gets reviewed by all the the faculty in the program. He's got a team that he's created, or else maybe he might make a team just for reviewing course descriptions. And as part of that team, he's going to invite all the faculty in there, and he might have these create a planner and say, okay, we've got 3 columns in our planner to review, complete review, et cetera, et cetera. And then as a task in each one of those things, he would list all the different courses. So we can assign people to that, put it into a different status and whatever else. Because it's a project that's ongoing every year or every term, it's not something, I mean, he might only use it for a month and a half, but he uses it every year a couple of times. That's a kind of a great example of a team that you make it, you leave it there, and you just add new people, remove people, add files, remove files, add tasks, remove tasks for that team. But for something smaller, if it's not like a small group and there's like a list of like 10 items or something like that you're doing, I would suggest you don't need to create a separate team just for that. You could just use the to-dos and OneDrive to store the files. Does that help at all?
Yes, the part now I understand in the team environment, but with the to-do list, I haven't played with it yet, so I'll need to see if I can share my to-do list some way with my coworker.
Yeah,
or we can share something.
I'm pretty sure I posted something about to-dos already, and if not, you know what? We just had that session on to-dos this week, so I mean, you could go through the archive. The links have been posted in the group. Go look at the archive and watch that session that was on Monday, and it'll go through all that stuff too. And then if you need to, you can reach out, book some time with me, we can chat.
Okay, great, thanks.
No worries. Any other questions? Okay, I'm gonna shut down recording then.